So I bought this Harbor Freight blaster. Oh man, I don't know how many years ago. It was before COVID. I've had it a long time. Never used it. Wanted to, but always been never get blast media that I needed to, and really it just came down to I was lazy and didn't want to go get it. So I have since I ran down to Tractor Supply and I bought some coal blast media. Kind of wanted to see how it worked. I'm used to glass bead, so we'll see if this works on this. No, I mean, it's working. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. Oh, great. I don't think that's a 1/4 inch, and that's what I'm supposed to have. So that's probably part of what my issue is. Now I have coal all over me. I do not like that. But my valve wasn't open all the way on the bottom. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Yeah. I got to get different ends. All right, so I messed with these before, places I've worked, all kinds of stuff. So instead of the little nozzle I had, I recommend running stainless, but you use a stainless ball valve. You can use a pipe for extension to get closer to things. I don't know, it's like 3/8, 1/2 inch thread, something like that. I think it's 3/8. But this seems to work better. I also pressure regulated this down. I only try to run like, 70, 80 psi on them. But let's see how this works. That is just spitting it out. That should not be doing that. Oh, it may have because I... Oh yeah, that is just like loads. Well, never mind. We're not going to do that. I usually ran it with sand, and they run fine. That's a... Oh, I can break the flow up right here. Let's see if that works. Trying to remember how I used to do this. It's been a lot of years. Better just go by the blast cabinet because all this will fit in the blast cabinet and it'll be easier.
I love you.
Okay, so this pissed me off. I'm going and buying a blast cabinet. All right, we're gonna try something out. So this is the spindle off of the Bronco. We're gonna try to clean this thing up in the sandblaster. See what it does. So after like 20 minutes in the blast cabinet, I still got a little bit I gotta clean there. But I mean, pretty much it's down to metal. So I'd say that worked out pretty good.
He said we get to hang the I-beams next. That's exciting. Hanging the I-beams is big girl stuff. All right, so we're going from those old and grimy I-beams to these.
No.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, got to remember now, don't you?
They're all in the glove box. Okay, they're in the glove box and they're on the arms. Or are they these big ones?
The ones I just cleaned up, those I believe are the ones.
They're bigger than 3/4.
Huh?
They're bigger than 3/4.
Are they? Check.
I just did.
Okay. And yeah.
What's that?
Anti-seize. So it's a steel bushing that I don't want to be welded to that nut, that bolt later on. So, thing is, let me see that bolt.
You're doing great, honey. It's almost there. Going just a little. Almost there. Okay.
Goes in from the front. Up, down, left, right. What do we need? Okay. They're on the ground. The big punch. Behind you. So you stick it in barely. Yep, now, nope, too far. Barely stick it in.
There it goes. Aha. Success. There's not a washer that goes on it. I need another 21.
I'm not worried about tightening those up yet.
Okay. You don't remember what?
Bronco 2 suspension. I need to know which radius are
I don't need to do it anymore now that I've wiped my hands off.
Huh?
I don't need to do it anymore now that I've wiped my hands off.
Exactly. That's exactly.
I know it is. You know, I could help. How come I got to do all the dirty stuff and you can do all the fun stuff?
Yeah, because that's exactly what I'm doing.
You got to paint. You got to install the pretty new stuff.
You gonna do all the paintings now?
No.
So I would absolutely love it if you did.
It would come out with so many runs and piss you off.
Yeah. Okay, so.
You.
Yeah, I don't even care right now. My problem is I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that spring in.
You have your spring compressor, right?
Yeah, but that's not what it is.
Well, that piece goes there. But
I wasn't thinking by doing these.
is the hole more forward?
Nope. But this is essentially a pivot. The pivot's usually here, which allows all this to hang lower. See, like there, how it was okay. Like this can.
Yeah.
Okay, I pull it down, binds.
Uh,
But I still have a full length coil I have to put in this.
so what he's saying is by switching to these brackets, he's moved the pivot point essentially from like back here to up here. So now when he pulls down on this more, I can't do it with one hand, but when he pulls down on this, this locks up and there's no room up there to fit his full length.
So the issue with it is that I need to run shorter coils. But I don't know what coils to buy because I'm going from a V6 to a V8. So I don't know where it's going to set. So I didn't want to order coils and then be wrong and then have to order more coils. So what I'm probably going to do is cut 2 coils out of these and then install them and see where we're at. Actually, I may only cut 1 coil.
So he may just cut this coil and install it and see what happens because he doesn't know what to buy going from the V6 to the V8. Does that mean we're at a standstill for now, or are we going to install the other I-beam?
The other side.
All right. I'm repeating things because you don't have your mic on and I don't know if it's picking up your voice. Oh, so it's going to pick up the sound of the freaking...
No, it's a problem. That's why I took it off, as I kept walking in front of the cooler to cool down.
Well, I can do noise reduction on it.
There you go. And then here's the nut.
Oh.
Throw it on the floor. Dancing's what you want in life. Louisiana Saturday night.
It doesn't fit? Do we need to scrape some grime? That's grime.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if we can. Clean both those out for me. Ooh! That hurt my fingernail.
No, that's still too skinny. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna be smarter than the average engineer.
I don't think the 1990 engineer was thinking about putting out
I need
market
2 wrenches
on it.
that size. Oh, it's too big. Never mind. I can't use that. I gotta go smaller. That means I need 3/4.
I got those right here.
I want 2 normal size wrenches, not the little baby one.
I don't know where your other normal size wrench is. The other one's cute.
I'm creating a press. Hopefully that was enough. So now, here, come get it from this side so they can see what's in there. Now you can see, put washers there. Basically, the bolts touch each other, and I'm just tightening the nuts out. This bolt is pushing against that one. This nut is pushing that way, and the opposite on that side.
And it's going to stay like that when you take the bolts out?
If you bend it far enough, yes. Bend it farther than you want it to go, because steel will spring back. So, prime example, if you're trying to move a piece of steel and you're trying to press it, you have spring back on it. So let's say you're trying to get it to go 1/4 inch, you may have to take it out to 5/16 so when it springs back, it's actually 1/4 inch.
You want me to take a turn?
Be shy, be careful. Honey, we're not going to need that for a minute.
I'm not going to be able to move it probably even a centimeter. We'll see. Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Tighten it up a little. Okay, hold on.
Could you put a clamp on it now somehow?
A ratchet strap.
Hey, it went in. Then it fell out.
Hey, it's on.
No, it's on. You got it. You look like the fucking Tin Man. As you can tell, the front end's back together. I did a lot of this off camera just because I was working on some other stuff. People are coming by. So on my days off, everybody kind of comes to the shop and works on their stuff, or there's miscellaneous things they need done, and they need help, or they need the tools, or they want to use the lift. So on my days off, I usually have a lot of people come in and out of here. I get a lot more work done in the evening times by myself. It's a lot when Kimmy's out here helping me. So she should have the video of us installing these beams. We installed them one night, scraped off a whole bunch of dirt and grime and crap off this. I was just trying to get something in here that was a little bit cleaner. I will constantly be spraying this down and degreasing it and pressure washing it to get it cleaner than what it is. But for now, it works. So, did the drop beams. My coils, because I did the drop radius arm lifts, which I'll explain in a second, you got to have at least a 2-inch drop. It doesn't include the 3-inch drop I-beam. So I took like a coil and a half out of my springs. It should be pretty close to 2 inches by the time I set the motor in, get it down. So that's the front end of this is down, 5 inches, which is pretty close to probably where I want it. If I get much crazier or I need to get better control over the front end, they make a coilover setup that I can put in this. If that's something Sony wants to see, let me know. Maybe we'll spend the money and do it. It comes with the bucket, and it's a QA1, I think, coilover they do on it. So while I had this apart, new ball joints, I sandblasted the spindle, sandblasted the brake shields, painted those, just satin black, primer paint them. I got some pictures, we'll insert here, of that's where I just blasted them, primered them, sprayed them black, made them look pretty. While I had it apart, new ball joints. I did 4-degree adjustable plus or minus camber adjustments for the top of the I-beam. Anybody that's in I-beams know what that is. Essentially, it's just a dual eccentric where you can control where that ball joint sets, and between the two eccentrics, if you put them opposite of each other, it's like 2 degrees positive or negative on which way you have the flap. You've got them both the same way. You can do 4 degrees negative or positive, or you can turn them opposite and set it dead center, and that goes to 0, which you're never going to want on this because of the drop I-beam, because of the drop coil. It pulls top of the tire in, and you got to throw 4 degrees back in it approximately to get it back out. So did those. I bought new rotors because the rotors were hashed. New pads, they're just Bindex pads, and I think I picked the rotors up from O'Reilly's. They're just a factory replacement rotor. I would like to eventually do the big brake setup on this, which is you got to get 95 to 97 spindles, and then you use a 2002 approximately Ford Explorer Sport Track rear-wheel drive, so two-wheel drive, brake rotor, and it comes with the dual piston front caliper. That seems to be the go-to upgrade on these. Don't plan on using the brakes too much, so hopefully I'm not really worried about it. Most of the guys that are doing it, they're doing that because they're four-wheel drive stuff, or they're doing all this other stuff with it, not four-wheel drive, but they're lifting them and big tires, and they need more stopping force. Essentially, these are the same size factory rotors that people use to swap Fox body Mustangs to 5-lug the cheap way. So those that don't know, Fox body Mustang's 4-lug. What you can do to change a Fox body Mustang to 5-lug with factory parts is Ranger and Broncos. You pull, I want to say it's 2 left side rear axles. You grab the drums, and you do Ranger front brake rotors. And all of that literally bolts into a Mustang and converts your entire car to 5-lug. And if you go to a salvage yard and pull the axles, I think they're like $35 a piece. Drums you can buy new, $60 each, $50 each. Rotors about $100 a piece on the fronts. So literally for like $300, you can swap your car to 5-lug and just swap your wheels over to a 5-lug wheel, and it bolts right in. A lot of people do SN95 knuckles, upgrade it to the Cobra brakes so you can get bigger brakes and all that type of stuff, which I fully get, I fully understand, but trying to do 5-lug on the cheap, that's the way to do it. So my problem I had is these arms right here, where the radius arm bolts in, usually set way down here. But because my I-beam is going to be higher here because I cut the coil, I wanted this mount higher instead of way down here. And to use these, you got to do at least 2-inch drop, which is why I cut the coils. And it just sets it where basically nothing's below this part of the frame now. Your lowest spot is either your I-beams or the trans cross member. So that was, Kimmy installed those. I think those are in the video of her doing those, both sides. Nothing huge. Sandblasted parts of these, took a wire wheel to the rest of it, threw those on black. So now it comes to wheel and tires. So these are just, jegs. SSR wheels is what they call them. These are just some cheap 205 60-15s that I think I paid like $100 for, $110 for both of them. Really was trying to get that height. It's about 1 inch smaller than the rears. Height on the rears. Oh, by the way, those are 15/7s with 3.5-inch back spacing, I think. So pretty much centered. Maybe it's a 4-inch back spacing, 3.5, something like that. But that's a 15/7. These are 15/10s. They barely fit. You look up at the edge, and it is dead even with the edge of the wheel. Same on the inside. They barely fit. These tires are 275 50 15 Nitto 555 R2s, so drag radial. Same wheels, 1510s, the Jegs SSRs. I got all 4 of those wheels to my door for like $508. Like super cheap, everything, taxes, everything. It was like $500 to my door. Those wheels are pretty light for $500 wheels. Tires, I had a buddy hook me up with a large tire company that he works for. They had a store that had those in stock. So I have not swapped over the rear end yet. Now, to my knowledge, this is factory. This comes with, I was just looking. This has got 373 gears. It's a 7.5. It ain't gonna hold up to the 5 liter. It's drum brakes. It's a spring under or a spring over. So I have an Explorer rear end, 8.8, 31 spline axles, disc brakes. Has 373s with the limited slip. Pretty much it's a bolt-in on these. I don't know if the spring perches are in the correct spot. If they're not, no big deal. I ordered a new set, so I will have them if I have to change that. I'm probably not going to run the rear sway bar. That's going to get removed. Shocks are going to swap over to the Explorer where they run off of the lower plate once it's all installed. And then I'm probably going to have to buy top shock mounts. So I'll end up taking and blowing these out and then find them. I'll show you in a second. So that's going to essentially be my rear end setup with some decent sized meats on the back of this thing. 275 on the back of this is pretty big. I had the factory bumper. I straightened it out some. It's still kind of bent up. I ran some steel wool over it and polished it up a little bit. I definitely needed that on there. It had to look better. Like, I'm kind of okay with that front end now. I don't think I'm going to do the blacked out grill. I'll just leave the chrome on it with the chrome bumper. If I end up replacing the bumper, it's going to get a black bumper. It'll get paint matched. And then I'll do the black grill and probably paint match the grill just for that sport truck look. So now to show you guys what else I was talking about. So here I have a complete Explorer chassis. This is the 8.8 I'm going to use. So it takes the rear shock mount and mounts it off the bottom bracket. So I'm hoping that those spring perches are in the correct spot for the exact same leaf springs, and I don't have to weld on new ones, but if I do, I got them. That track arm is, I think it's going to run into my wheels, so I don't think I'm going to be able to use it. I wish I could, because that will probably solve wheel hop. Rear sway bar coming off. No rear sway bar on this thing. I mean, this one has it, but it's all getting removed. So that is the rear end I would be pulling out to put in this. So here's the majority of the stuff that's got to go back in this. So I'm going to try to get all this cleaned up because it's driving me crazy. I'm constantly having to walk around the dash and seats, all this stuff. So really my next thing is this thing gets set down. I don't have to have the rear end in it right now, so I'm not too worried about it. I need to get the motor on the cherry picker. I need to get the motor mounts on it. I need to grab that thing. I need to stab it down in there. I need to get everything lined up, figure out what I got to cut, figure out what I got to bash, and make that motor fit. Get my in, get motor mount set, bolt everything down. Once the motor's in, now I can do my flywheel, I can do my clutch, I can do my bell housing, trans. I'm still got to get a starter. which I'll probably get ordered this next week, hopefully. I've been trying to accumulate the parts every week. I'm just trying to buy more and more stuff and get the ball rolling on this thing. Really want to get it done before the end of summer, and that way coming into cooler weather, it's running. I can take this thing out, have a lot of fun with it. Still got to get the motor and trans in there, but it's getting pretty close to where it should be. So I got a little bit of a gap there now. You call it a fist, not quite a fist. 3 fingers, but the rear, we're not trying to do 70 style. So that gap is going to be a lot better after the axle flip with that other setup. So I think that thing's going to look good. I like that color combination. I'm not a fan of black wheels. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the process as much as I'm enjoying doing it. Let you know more later.